Bulgaria and Romania will return to Eurovision 2026. Cyprus need help choosing their entry, and we have a shocking entrant in Melody Festival. Tons of other national final news. We need a Eurovision 2026 news update. Let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So last week's episode was a little bit more low-key. This week is popping. Things just popped off for some reason this week. Before we start, shout out to those who joined me for my live stream on Tuesday, where we ranked the hype for some of the national finals that are coming up in the 2026 season. That was part one of the episode. I'm going to do part two on Tuesday. Sorry, I'm not advertising these live streams very loudly right now. I'm trying to get more comfortable with the software before I start promoting them properly. But I'm hoping to get into a routine, maybe do them weekly or fortnightly, possibly on a Tuesday. I'll try and pick a specific day if possible. Of course, the best way to be notified about them is turning on your notifications. So first news story, Bulgaria will be back in Eurovision 2026. This news is piping hot. It literally dropped a couple of minutes before I started filming. Bulgaria will take part in Eurovision 2026 after having last participated in 2022. The reveal was made on the official Eurovision Instagram page, though an official confirmation from BNT is pending. Here's the official one. I've prepared it for you. Bulgaria returns to Eurovision. You can't get more official than that unless you want it in Bulgarian, which there you go, if you can read Bulgarian. So yeah, this is crazy news. You know, there were a couple of rumors that this was coming. This account, BNT Eurovision Bulgaria, does do a little bit of teasing. They interact with the community, particularly Dolphin Dane. In fairness, they're usually pretty upfront in previous years saying, no, we're not coming back. We've no interest. And this year they were teasing it a little bit more. So I have to admit, I still didn't think this was going to happen. So this is a really, really pleasant surprise. If you're new to Eurovision, Bulgaria went through this incredible period between 2016 and 2021. You can see here they had loads of non-qualifications, 6 non-qualifications in a row, including a gap here in 2014 and 2015. After that 2-year gap, changed something up, came up with a new system, came back in 2016, came fourth with Polygenova. Amazing song, If Love Was a Crime. Go check that out if you haven't never heard that before. Christian Kostov coming second in 2017, which was my number 1 that year. Equinox coming 14th in 2018, which was my number 1 this year. You can see a pattern. This is why I'm so super hyped for Bulgaria to be back. And then also coming 11th with Victoria. And then Intelligent Music Project, we don't really know what happened. If you saw one of my news episodes way back when I met Christian Kostov in Kazakhstan, he told me the system for Bulgaria used to be that they just needed someone to come up with their own funding. So if you could get a private sponsor or a private millionaire to fund your song and package, then you could get support from the delegation and you could go. So it seems in recent years they haven't been able to find that kind of funding or people who are interested to do it. I'm not sure what's changed that they're suddenly willing to come back. We'll talk about potentially the EBU's role in this in a moment. But I'm super excited because this is a song that used to be very competitive to win. Like I said, 2 top 4 finishes here in 2016 and 2017. So this is a country in the eastern part of Europe who can potentially compete for top 10 spot, potentially compete for a win. So that's really, really exciting because we want more countries in the eastern part of Europe to be competitive to win Eurovision so we can go back there. Another reason that I'm excited is that my favorite Eurovision composer, Borislav Milanov, is Bulgarian and predominantly writes for Bulgaria. And you can see here his songs since 2011. He is just a bop factory. He works with a couple of other people. He used to work with Cesar Samson from Austria and Swedish artist, I can't remember her name, but together they used to be called Symphonics. It was like a music songwriting group. But you can see here Dance Alone in 2017, huge fan favorite. Into Deep, which is also a fan favorite. Beautiful Mess, which came second. Into Deep was 11th. Dance Alone was a little bit farther away from qualifying. Nobody But You from Austria. This is him working with Cesar Samson. Bones, Truth, my favorite song from 2019. I do love Arcade, but Truth is my most listened to song from that year. Chameleon, Tears Getting Sober, Violent Thing, All My Love. So this guy is such a great songwriter. I really, really hope he comes back to Eurovision someday. The relevance of this is that I think Boris is someone who could write a Eurovision winning song for Bulgaria. He is married to Tamara Gachaladze, sorry for saying her name wrong, from Georgia. So he's really invested in Eurovision. He threw a little bit of a hissy fit after 2020 because the songs weren't able to be reused. I think he was particularly pissed off about Tears Getting Sober because it was at that point in time the favorite to win the contest. Hopefully Bulgaria coming back to the contest will draw Borislav Milanov out of retirement, hiding, I don't know. But super excited to have Bulgaria back in the contest for the 70th anniversary. But that's not the only country who's returning in 2026. We also have an announcement that Romania will be back Romania will return to 2026 following a 2-year absence as confirmed by TVR. We're not a big fan of TVR. The decision was made by their board of directors in a meeting today. TVR President Director General Dan Turturitsa, am I saying his name right? We had the time to better understand what didn't work in the relationship between TVR, the music industry and creators. We understood what we need to change on our part to have a more competitive selection process. So I did an episode about this, What's Wrong with Romania, which was based on Theodore Andrei's interview that he did after the 2023 edition, where he basically just spilled the beans on what a totally disastrous system TVR has. So definitely we need to see changes if Romania are going to come back competitive, because they just had the total wrong mindset. The people managing Eurovision from TVR were just super arrogant, very bullheaded with bad ideas, which is just a terrible mix. So hopefully there's a bit of a change up in the team who's managing Eurovision. They also said, we appreciate the understanding shown by the EBU, which adapted its invitation to TVR to return to the contest, taking into account the challenges our institution faces. Very cryptic. Is adapting its invitation, is that flexibility in deadlines? Is that a reduction or a discount? A 2-for-1 promo on the participation fee? Is it help paying for accommodation? Who knows, but the invitation was adapted. So this is the EBU reaching out to TVR to try and get them back into the contest. We're going to talk about this now in a second, what is going on behind the scenes. But before we do, let's focus on the positive. And we can see Romania joined in 1993, got a 3rd place finish in 2005, Let Me Try, which is such an iconic with the steel drum. Mihai came 4th. He's not just a national final terror, he has had Eurovision success. Paula Selling and Ovi coming 3rd in 2010. So you can see huge amount of success here, particularly in the noughties, qualifying every single year quite comfortably. And then you can see this later period where something just changed. The contest has evolved definitely, and the standard got higher, but I think something started going a little bit stale in TVR as well. We can see here 7th with Yodel It, but then in 2018, this was the first time Romania ever non-qualified. 2018 was actually a crazy year because Russia, Azerbaijan and Romania, all 3 of them lost their 100% qualification record, leaving only Ukraine, who still have theirs, and Luxembourg. And since then, it's been really, really rocky. The Humans coming 11th, Esther Peony on a Sunday coming 13th, which I love. I love that song so much. Roxin coming 12th with Amnesia, a great song, but the staging was just messy.com. And then WRS, which from what I've heard, he was a one-man show. He did everything himself. So that wasn't TVR, that was WRS. And then Theodore Andrei, the most recent entry, talking about what a difficult process it was to work with the Romanian delegation. So really, really hope that if Romania are coming back, it's because changes have been made. Hopefully there's been a lot of reflection. It sounds like the people who are managing the Romanian entry are just not up to it at all. Are they going to go back to a national final though, or are they going to have an internal selection? As far as I've been following Romania, they've had a national final, Selecționa Națională. Something like that. My Romanian's not great. Which has always been not as messy as Moldova. The production's a little bit better, but the kind of behind the scenes influencing of results has always been a little bit... I posted about this on Twitter, and Eurovision Romania community, who are really good at giving updates on what's happening with Romania in Eurovision, replied. I said, are they going to go internal or national final? And they said, what we do know is that there's a songwriting camp hosted by Ovi Jakobsen, which is Ovi from 2010 and 2014. That might have to do with the decision of participating. The song and or artist might come from there. But apart from that, as usual, TVR is quite secretive with their decision making. So I covered this in one of my previous episodes, that there were some songwriting camps organized by the Woods. There was one in Dublin, Ireland. There was another one in, I don't remember what city in Romania. There was another one in Norway. But anyway, this is like a brand of songwriting camps that are kind of like spreading out. So I asked about that camp, and they said, yes, it has already taken place from the 13th to the 17th of October. So that might mean that we have some songs or the song for this year at the ready if they choose to use this method of selection. So perhaps TVR listened to what came out of that song camp and said, we've got enough for a national final, or we have an internal selection, and they've come up with a new process now and a bit of a new strategy. We've often seen that countries have left the contest for 1-2 years, come back with a new strategy, and it's had a huge effect. A perfect example being what I just said about with Bulgaria, where they took 2 years off in 14-15 and came back and had strong results. We also had the same with Portugal when they took a gap year in 2016. Came back the next year and won. So sometimes having a little bit of a break away from the contest resetting, restructuring can be what you need to finally start getting it and getting a long-term sustainable system for success. A lot of S's there. Okay, so 2 countries returning to the contest after hiatus in a very, very short period, back to back. What is going on? One thing we know is that it's the 70th edition this year and the EBU probably wants as many countries there as possible. But let's be realistic. We also know that 4 or 5 countries are threatening to withdraw. It could be even more. And if those countries withdraw, there's a risk that the semi-finals will be too small. Also, the participation fees are going to go up for everyone else, particularly if Spain and Netherlands leave because they play the most out of those countries who are threatening to boycott. So is this an attempt by the EBU to get more countries in to make sure there's enough countries participating in the semi-finals? I think it's a bit of both. I think they want to get countries back anyway for the 70th edition, but I also think they're thinking, okay, if 5 countries leave, we need others in to replace them. If we look at the 37 countries from last year and we lose 4 of them, that's down to 33. Bring in Romania, bring in Bulgaria. Moldova most likely returning to the contest, particularly with this news about Romania. I would guess that Moldova are almost definitely going to come back. Potentially Kazakhstan joining as a 70th special edition. North Macedonia potentially coming back. That brings the numbers back up to 37, 38-ish, which is a much better number for semi-finals. So look, we don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes, but what we do know is that invitations are being adapted to try and lure these countries back. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but bottom line is I'm super, super happy to have Romania and Bulgaria back. 2 countries who brought so much personality, had such a distinct point of view in the contest, have had great success. Romania best result is 3rd, Bulgaria coming 2nd. We need more competitive countries from the eastern part of Europe. Okay, next up, let's go to some news from Cyprus. They need your help to choose their Eurovision entry. So CYBC, the Cypriot broadcaster, has published a questionnaire asking the Cypriot public about their preferences for the Eurovision 2026 entry. So this website was initially in Greek. Artist profile, would you prefer our representative to be a man, woman, group, or duet? They're asking about the song as well. What type of song do you think best suits to represent us? These aren't my real answers, by the way, I'm just clicking it. So they're asking you about the speed of the song. Do you want a ballad? Do you want a bop? Do you want it in Greek, English, or a mix? Then lyrics and the message, what do you want it to be out? Do you want love from above, invincible? Do you want love, love, peace, peace? Or do you want a song about a hopeful future? Staging. They want to know everything. They want to know what your ideal Cypriot performance is. Would you prefer it to be simple, phantasmagoric? I have no idea what that word means. What's that in Greek? That phantasmagoric with choreography and effects. Do you want it intensely artistic, theatrical, or do you want a combination? Girl, I want it all. I want to tick all of these boxes. How important is dance choreography? Oh, it's very important. That's the answer to that question. Strategy and image. How important do you consider to have international impact? And do you think the artist should already have international experience career? So this is really surreal. I think this is actually not a bad thing to pop out maybe in June or July, kind of early in the season. But for this to be released at the end of October, start of November, this is like very, very worrying. This is giving Panic at Panic Records vibes. What do you mean you're asking us if we want, like, how are we meant to choose between a man, a woman, and group if we don't know what the songs are? That's such a strange thing to ask someone. Like, at the end of the day, you can tick all these boxes. If the song isn't good, then it doesn't matter. So I don't know what's going on with the Cypriot delegation. Obviously, they have questions that want to be answered. So I don't know if maybe they've got a couple of songs and they can't pick, or they're lost. They don't know if they should change their system. But if you really want to know what the public thinks, have a national final. So, you know, if they've got 6 songs and they can't pick, put on a national final and show the Cypriot people, and then let them choose instead of letting them pick abstracts without hearing the music. It's very, very unusual. Yeah, again, interesting concept for June, not for November. This is a little bit worrying for Cyprus. Next up, let's go to Luxembourg. They've announced the 8 artists who will be competing in the Luxembourg Song Contest 2026. And they've made me nice little sheets so we can go through them one by one. First is Irem. She's trained classical music and jazz, and she's pursuing a master's degree in physics in Vienna. So if she wins, maybe we'll get some like cool physics prop staging stuff. I think this is her being announced. I don't know why there's a slow motion video of her doing that. Second up is Steve Castile. He's been playing guitar and piano for 15 years. He earned a bachelor's in psychology. All these really well-educated people, we stan a bachelor's bop. You know, presumably, is he going to be on his guitar and piano, or are you getting something a little bit singer-songwriter? Most of these artists seem pretty upcoming. Next up is Hugo One. He began singing in school choir. And outside he works as an event manager. My insider telling me that he's got a little bit of a Gustav vibe. Next up is Shirokuro. They're a pop rock trio. They're all classically trained. So we've got one on guitar and piano, one on drums, and another one is on vocals and violin. So they look super interesting. I'm really, really excited to hear what they've got. That looks like that looks like a badass electric violin. We don't have 0.5, who last year came second, and they won the televote, didn't they? I thought that they might come back. So this is kind of maybe filling that niche of having a group in. Next up is Darice. She's from a theater background, and she also directs and teaches while helping out at a family restaurant. So is she going to be serving us a Eurovision bop for Luxembourg? They've got the same graphics as last year. A little bit of a shame there's no, because Benidorm Fest have great graphics and they change them a little bit every year. This is like literally the exact same graphics as last year. Hopefully they do a bit of a jig. Next up is Andrew the Martian. He's completely self-taught. He's born in Portugal and living in Luxembourg. This is one of my big revelations this year. A lot of Portuguese people telling me that there's a huge Portuguese diaspora in Luxembourg, and that's one of the reasons why Luxembourg gave points to Portugal this year. He devotes himself entirely to music, cultivating diverse and authentic sounds. I believe he does some rap as well, from what I've heard. So yeah, really looking forward to Andrew the Martian. Next up is Ava Maria. She fell in love with the violin after watching Alexander Rybak's Fairy Tale. She's born in Luxembourg to Slovenian parents, and she's connected to both cultures. So could we get someone in Slovenia already did an electric violin, Mariah? Could we be getting Mariah meets Luxembourg? And then finally, the last singer here you can see celebrating is Lusak, who you may know was in last year. I think he came 4th in the televote and 3rd overall. So this is a good mix. I think if we had too many returning artists, it would just feel a tiny bit stale. I think having one back is good. And then lots of new faces as well. We want this to feel like it is a platform for up and coming Luxembourg artists. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I hope they update the graphics. I'm really looking forward to reacting to the songs from Luxembourg Song Contest. I think they're usually out around January. And a little bit more extra news about Luxembourg. GJ reporting that it seems that Luxembourg now has a new head of delegation, David Gloschner, who's been their Eurovision coordinator since their return. His LinkedIn mentions he became head of delegation in June, so that seems to indicate that Eric, the old delegation, is out. Actually, it appears that the former, this is like some bonus news I just discovered. The former Luxembourg head of delegation has written a song in Montenegro. So there's some fun bonus news for you that I didn't even know about. You saw it live. Okay, next up is Festival of Kungas, the national final in Albania, and they've released some teasers about what type of songs we're going to be getting. Those songs are coming out super soon, hopefully sometime in November. First up is Two Farm. They're going to be having an alternative song. There's some images here of what they look like. I believe one of them, Castra Moza, has been in the contest before. Next up, we've got Alice, who's singing a ballad. Luckily, all of these Albanian words are the same in Albanian and English. He was in the contest last year with Megul, which is a fabulous song. He came 3rd. So could he be competitive? He's coming back with another ballad. Apparently Alice co-wrote this song with his girlfriend. We have Egzon with a pop song. Endri Kashashi is singing a ballad, serving eyeliner. Gitti is singing alt pop. So that could be kind of cool. That sounds interesting. We have Evi Reshi singing modern ethno EDM. Yes, we do get some really random songs in Festival Kungas, which is one of the best things about it. Fifi and Tiri are singing ethno-sympho rock ballad. Amazing. So we're getting, already we can see that we're getting a little bit more ethno this year. Erand is singing some pop rock. It looks a little bit eccentric. Sihana is singing ballad. So that's now one of the real standard things in Festival Kungas is these big female strong vocal ballads. So I think that's going to be the more like very standard fixed song that we've seen win a lot in the past. I'm not saying it definitely will win, but this genre has done well recently. Next up is Malvina. She's singing ethno pop. The girly bop stands are getting ready. Next up, Gressa and Bledy have a pop ballad. So interesting mix here. He's got shades on. Then we have Kimi, who's also singing a pop ballad. So quite a few ballads so far. And I think that's our 5th or 6th. We do know the Festival of Kungas is quite ballad heavy. We have Gerta. She's singing ethnic pop. So it's her 2nd ethnic pop song now. Girly bop stands are just foaming at the mouth. Sarah Capo is alternative. So pretty bold there. She does have quite an alternative look in there. So that could be cool. Inish Naziri, who came 2nd, I believe, in 2020 with a ballad. She's back with 3 keywords which made the girly bop stands go crazy. Ethno, pop, dancehall. Is this a successor to Carnival? She looks stunning in these photos. I think we're maybe getting something like Metana in 2020. Could be really, really fun. Eric Loshi's giving Albanian vintage rock ballads. So I think we're going to have some thick guitars in there. Kamela Ismailai, who I believe is from Kosovo. She's got disco pop. So really, really cool range of genres here. Saviana is singing a ballad. I actually love this genre teaser. I don't think many countries do that, so that's really, really fun. Cleanza Suzai, who's definitely been in the contest before, she's got pop reggaeton, so that could be a little bit messy. 3X are singing ethno pop world fusion. These words are amazing. This is a three-piece. I believe they're sisters, so that could be super fun as well. Regursa is singing modern dance pop. So we got a lot of pop ladies. We got a lot of ballads as well. Enshi is doing experimental pop. Frenzy is doing soul pop R&B, so something a tiny bit different there. Luna is giving us traditional pop. Vedat Ademi is giving us ballad pop rock. Lawrence Hazrama is giving us a pop ballad written by himself. I forgot to say, Regursa's song is written by Darko Dimitrov, who is a North Macedonian composer who's written a lot of songs for Albania and North Macedonia. I believe he wrote I'm Alive in 2015 for Albania. Razarta Smaya, one of the real veterans of this country, probably the most experienced person in the lineup, has got an ethno-pop ballad. So again, going for that more standard big female vocal ballad. So definitely in with a chance. And then Sheila's got Stop It. Sheila's got deep house. We're so ready for deep house. And this Marco Polo, I recognize his name as well. We're so ready for, and she's written the song herself. So some really exciting genres here. And Dolphin Dane actually made a list of the changes in genres compared to last year. And we can see we're getting more pop this year, 16% more. We're getting less ballads, actually. Although we still have a lot, still 40% ballads. We're getting less rock, minus 12%. More ethno. This is the influence that we saw in my interview in my last episode where El Hayden Danny talked about the influence of Chocolate Electronica. We're seeing 15% more ethno, so 2.5 times more. Alternative has gone from 0 to 11, so really, really great. We're getting that new viewpoint. Modern, Vic is getting 7% more modern. It's getting 3% less dancey. And then some other things are staying the same. So yeah, we're really excited for Festival Congress. I hope we get those songs soon. Of course, I'm going to react to them as soon as they come out. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Okay, let's get some more national final news. Let's first go to Vidbeer. So Spilney has 451 submissions for Vidbeer from 392 artists, 313 solo artists, 79 bands. 30 applicants have been part of Junior Vidbeer before, either as a finalist or on the long list, or represented Ukraine at Junior Vision. So just showing this really cool pipeline of having Junior Vidbeer, giving people a shot, and then them wanting to move up to adult Vidbeer. We saw early in the season that Jamala, the musical director of Vidbeer, was not happy with the submissions at that point. She said there were a couple of okay ones, but hopefully she's received some better entries since then, and we'll see a really, really great Vidbeer this year. One of the artists who's rumored to have submitted a song is the runners-up Molody. They've announced that they have submitted a song. So are they going to get in? Vidbeer usually has around 10, 11. I think in recent years it's been 10 and then they have one wild card. We have some news from the Greek national final, Ethnikos Telikos. This is a video where Evangelia, who was a runner-up of last year's Ethnikos Telikos, is saying that she submitted a song for Greece this year. They're expanding. They're going to 2 semi-finals apparently. We would have to guess that she's one of the early favorites to win, as she's pretty established, she's very popular, and she came 2nd place last year. So I'm assuming that she's going to get picked. So I'm really excited to see what her song is. We have some news from Czechia, and that is that they've received 260 submissions for Eurovision. We've seen your guesses about who applied, and at least one of you got it right. We'll find out the result very soon. Stay tuned. Still no confirmation yet on whether this is going to be internal selection or national final. They used to have a national final, ESCZ, which was one of the earliest national finals in the season. I'm guessing they're not going to be doing that. I'm guessing they're still going to be going internal selection. But 260 songs seems very healthy for Czechia. I think that they're slowly getting more traction, building more popularity. Still feels like they're one of the countries that I'm still not super sure that they're going to be at Eurovision every year. Great to see that their submission numbers are healthy. I think the more that they're in the contest, Eurovision will start to get a little bit more traction in Czechia with younger generations, and hopefully they can start to be a definite permanent participant every single year. Let's go to Melody Festival news. And first of all, we have rumors that A-Teens will debut at Melody Festival in 2026 if they can get the right song. So not really confirmation, more if we can get the right song. Usually these Melfest rumors don't come with an if attached. I have to admit, I don't know a lot about 18s. I kind of recognize the name, but it seems that they started off by doing ABBA covers. They had an ABBA Generation album. They did Mamma Mia, Super Trooper, Gimme Gimme, A Man After Midnight. And then it seems like they went into their own music for a couple of years. So this is in 99, 2000, 2001, 2022. I think they did a couple of tours since. So yeah, I've seen quite a few Swedish people reacting to this quite strongly. This seems to be quite big news. I have to admit, I've never heard a single song from them. So this is them 20 years ago. So they're all grown up now. Okay, more Melfest rumors. Aftonbladet have reported 3 more names. First of them is 2025 entrant Wilhelm Backhaus, who I believe is a theatre background. His father is like the director of the theatre in Stockholm. He did a very cool theatrical staging last year. He came fourth in the semi-finals, so very, very close. And then we have Idol winner Kimberly. That's new to me. I believe this is going to be her first time on the show. And country singer Erica Johnson. So cool to have some new names. And finally, the most shocking name is Alexa. According to Aftonbladet, she is rumored to be participating in Melody Festival in 2026. She's the winner of the only edition of the America Song Contest in 2022, which you may or may not know of. It was like a Eurovision style contest in America where all the states had a song. It was messy. It was a major flop. The songs weren't good at all, but she won it, and she did actually have a decent song called Wonderland with a very, very cool performance. So a lot of backing vocals and backing track on that. So it'll be really, really interesting to see how she is live. But so interesting to have the winner of the America Song Contest come to Melody Festival. And I believe she has a lot of Swedish songwriters, people talking about how she has a connection with Cassiopeia, who I believe was one of the songwriters for Wonderland, her winning song. Yeah, there's a lot of hype for this. She's got a little bit of a K-pop style. This could be something really, really different for Melody Festival. We know that Melody Festival doesn't have a problem in sending foreigners. You know, I think 2/3 of the Mama were non-Swedish. Obviously, Kai last year were Finnish. So yeah, Sweden doesn't have a hang up on sending, on who they send, as long as it's a great package. So we could be seeing Alexa theoretically in Vienna. Okay, we've got some small updates on the Israel situation. Over 2,400 cultural professors and trade unions, as well as dozens industry organizations, have called on Finland's broadcaster YLE to not participate in Eurovision 2026. If Israel does, YLE will make their stance public before the General Assembly in December. So this is a pretty huge petition. Could this influence how the Finnish broadcaster votes if there's a vote in that December 4th, 5th meeting, which is going to be happening in Geneva? Another related news story is that Zara Larsson revealed to Swedish radio that she declined an offer to perform as an interval act at the 2024 Eurovision Song Contest. It's a super big stage, over 100 million people watching, but I didn't feel like I could go on that stage and stand for those who competed Israel. It doesn't feel right there and then. I'm not sad I declined, and I would do it 100 times over. So this is just an example of the damage to the brand that Israel is causing, that artists like Zara Larsson don't want to be associated. Obviously, this is in Malmö, this was her home contest, but big artists don't want to be associated with a contest that is whitewashing genocide, supporting an apartheid state. So this is another example of these knock-on effects. Okay, finally, you might be wondering, why did I leave the Eesti Laul names so late? It's because we only have half of the artists announced for Eesti Laul, but they have announced the first 6 of the 12 finalists. We've no semi-finals in Eesti Laul this year, which makes me very, very, very sad. But these are the first 6. We have Noep, Marta Pikani, we have Greta Paya, Uliana Olina, Vanilla Ninja, who represented Switzerland in 2005. I have to admit, I wasn't following the contest that intensely back then, so I have no idea why an Estonian all-female rock group represented Switzerland in 2005, but they came 8th. So they've had some Eurovision success. They're coming back 20 years later. And then we also have Ali, who doesn't look... Oh, no, there's Ali. I thought this was Ali. I thought he'd gone through hard times. That second place didn't hit him well. So he's been second in the contest twice with Venom and My Friend. He has this very cool pop rock style. I'm very, very excited for Ali. I definitely want him to win Eesti Laul at some point with the right song. I think that actually he was a little bit robbed with Venom. The super final was a little bit unlucky because he was in the super final with another rock song. So they kind of split the rock vote. Bedwetters. You know, obviously Alika, who did win that, went on to great success. She came 8th. But it would have been really interesting to see how Ali would have done. I think he would have been close to top 10 as well. He did a really cool song. So really, really excited to see what he's got. We haven't got the second 6 finalists yet. Future Tom here. I'm just finishing editing this video and the names drop, so let's go check them out. I actually don't even know what the names are, so you're going to see my live reaction. We've also got the song titles as well, so let's check this out. So let's look at these 6 new names. First is Ant with Minimal Wind. Oh my god, that's so juicy. So in case you don't know, Ant is a Turkish artist who was my favorite song from Eesti Laul next year. He came 4th of the televote, I think 5th overall. He's with Minimal Wind, who got this really cool, slinky, jazzy feel. And they've been in the super final twice, I think. They do super well with the jury. They're doing a combination that is a super, super dangerous, spicy combination that could definitely be in contention to win. Their song is called Wounds Don't Want to Fall. So he's a great vocalist. They've got a lot of cool musicality as well. This could be a super, super combo. That's very exciting. Second is Clisherick and Max, which I talked about in my last episode. Talked about how they put in a song. It's called Jolly Roger. In case you don't know, Jolly Roger is like a pirate boat. Or it's the flag, isn't it? It's the flag that pirates used. Are we getting Wolves of the Sea? Estonian version 2.0? We'll have to wait and see. Getter Jani. So in case you know, Getter Jani was in Eurovision 2011, which was pure and utter total chaos. I need to do an episode about that because it was so chaotic. And her song is called The Game. Only one songwriter on that, interestingly. Then we have Greta Paia, her song is Tevas Jeulas, so something in Estonian, super cool, love that. Lara Pritz, her song is called Warrior, one of the most cliche Eurovision titles you can have. It's up there with Love From Above, never mind. Marta Pikani is saying Kel Kuus, so another Estonian song, love it. We have to have Estonian song every single year. It is such a freaking pretty language. Really, really, really happy that we have that. Noep is singing Days Like This. Ali's song is called Slave. I think that title might be a little bit controversial. He's written it on his own. I didn't know his surname before. Mazurczak. That looks Slovak to me. Next up is Robert Lina saying Metsik Rus. He's written the song himself. So another Estonian song. That's our third one. Is that our third one? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Then we have the Stockholm Cowboys. Oh no. With Stig Resta and Victor Krone. Oh my god. That could be very, very good or unbelievably messy. So Stockholm Cowboys I've never heard of. Stig Resta we know represented Estonia in 2015, coming 7th. I think he had a really early running order. He was with Alina Bjorn. Apparently they didn't get on. And they got a very early running order. It was a favourite to win. That was Vienna. So I think this is like an anniversary thing. He's potentially coming back to go back to Vienna again. And then of course Victor Krone is Swedish, but represented Estonia with Storm. Was that 2019? I think. He's also been in Melodifestivalen. That song is called Last Man Standing and was written by Stig Resta and Victor Krone. We have Uliana Olhina. Her song is called Rhythm of Nature. And then we have Vanilla Ninja. Their song is called Too Epic to Be True. Also written by Sven Lummis, so the same as Getter Jani. So this is a really, really cool list. I'm looking forward to Ant and Minimal Wind. That's so interesting. Clisherick's going to be interesting as well. Getter Jani coming back after winning Eesti Laul 15 years ago. There's some new names as well who are singing in Estonia. We've got Ali coming back with another rock song, presumably. This possibly messy conglomeration of Stockholm Cowboys and Stig and Victor Krone. We got Villa Ninja coming back from Switzerland, 2005. This is going to be so much fun. I'm still sad that there's no semi-finals, but really looking forward to this national final review when all 12 songs, and 12 songs is such a nice number to review for me, being a little bit selfish. I will of course get that video out as soon as possible. I usually have my Eesti Laul video out before Christmas because they usually release their songs kind of early December. So I'm super, super hyped for that. This is such a fun list. Who is going to follow up Tommy Cash from last year? Okay, that's all of the Eurovision news. So much Eurovision news. Surely you must be satisfied with that. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and Buy the Coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a QR code for you here and a link in the description. And of course, thank you to all my wonderful patrons and YouTube members from all around the world who keep this channel alive in the off season. If you like my channel and you want it to stay alive, please do consider supporting, joining my Patreon. But of course, thank you so much just for being here. I'll see you in another Eurovision news update very soon. Goodbye.